Hi, Tony.
Hello, Dr. Emily. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I am so anxious to talk to you about one of my favorite subjects, zombies.
Yes, I'm sure we'll have plenty to chat about.
I know they're real because I personally was a zombie during college. There you go. Okay, bad joke to start it off with, but talk to me a little bit about how how zombies have kind of evolved over the last 200 or 300 years, because I know there was a different meaning to the word zombie back in the old days.
That's absolutely correct. So the original idea of the zombie, zombi, actually comes from the practice Haitian Vodou, which is a direct result of slavery. So we can't really separate the history of slavery from the history of the zombie.
And that practice was, as you say, through voodoo, bringing somebody back to life. Was it for a short period of time, or for the rest of another life, so to speak?
It depends. But yes, both Haitian Vodou and Voodoo practitioners do believe in zombies even today. And essentially, the belief is that after death, someone who was a malicious practitioner of one of those religions could actually trap your soul in a bottle. And that was what gave them the ability to control you after death.
And your show, Exhumed, the history of zombies, takes us all the way back and to present day beliefs about zombies.
Absolutely. So we trace the history back to slavery and the Haitian zombie, and then we talk as things as recent as the pandemic going on today. Zombies have been consistent across our culture, pop culture, for hundreds of years now, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
And in modern day, I think it started with really a resurgence in George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. We revisited the zombie lore, and he kind of changed what that was, I think.
No, I completely agree with you. I like to say that George Romero did for zombies what Bram Stoker did for vampires, right? He took these different ideas about the undead, different mythologies, and combined them into one reanimated corpse. So he absolutely changed the way pop culture views zombies and continues to do so today. Even after his death, I know that there's a book that came out called The Living Dead that was co-written by Daniel Kraus, and that sort of wraps up Romero's story. But that's only one director of so many that have contributed to the zombie narrative.
In your research, and the things that you have been through, have you met a zombie? I mean, I have to ask that question.
Yeah, I have not met a zombie or someone who calls themselves a zombie, but there are people who would argue even today that zombies are real. So, my understanding of the zombie as it pertains to both the Vodou and Voodoo religions is that it's someone who's no longer in control of their own mind or their own body. So, there probably are zombies walking around today. They're not flesh eating, reanimated corpses, but some people would argue that they do exist.
What's the biggest misconception about the zombie lore that you run into?
I think the biggest misconception, and this was reiterated to me by both Vodou and Voodoo practitioners, is people think that their religions are, first of all, like black magic practices, which is the farthest thing from the truth. Vodou and Voodoo are very alive, active religions that are based on kindness and respect. And I think that a lot of people are, because honestly, of zombie narratives in popular culture and in film in particular, have showed those people and Black practitioners of those religions in particular as being somehow evil or aggressive and all these negative stereotypes. And that's not the case of the people that I met. And I think that I would like to see those religions get the recognition that they deserve.
I would put that in the same category as witches and Wiccan,
Yeah.
where people have kind of a misinterpretation of what that is.
Exactly. And one of the things that I'm trying to do with Exhumed is really explore those misconceptions and portray these things in an accurate light.
And I think we need to hear that other end of it, because some of these practices have gotten a black eye because of misinterpretation. They're protective more than anything else.
Absolutely, that's completely true. I had the privilege of speaking to both a voodoo priest and a Vodou priestess, and they both emphasized to me that their religions are profoundly about love and life more than death and destruction. So yeah, that's a very common misconception. And again, I hope that I can just be part of the conversation that changes that.
Well, what's the difference between Vodou and Voodoo?
Such a good question. So Vodou, Vodou, evolved in Haiti. It's intimately tied to that island, basically. And then when both free Black and enslaved Black people moved from Haiti to New Orleans, that they met other slaves, other free Black people, and indigenous spiritual beliefs as well. And all of those things kind of merged together in Louisiana voodoo. So Vodou and voodoo are related, but not the same.
In our final moments that we have together, again, thank you so much for your time. How did you get involved with the history of zombies? I mean, what about it strikes your fancy?
I've always been fascinated by the undead of all different kinds. Mummies, vampires, zombies. They're the first monsters that really became obvious to me that there's something more than just their ability to scare us. And I started researching them as an undergrad, and eventually that turned into my doctoral dissertation. So I'm just fortunate now that PBS has given me the opportunity with Exhumed to keep doing what I love and sharing my research.
It's a very interesting show in the way that it's unexpected, some of the things that you come up with. So my final question to you is, what did you learn that you didn't know about all of this?
Well, I definitely learned a lot about Vodou and Voodoo as separate religions. And the experts I talked to just emphasized to me that race is still part of the conversation of zombies today. And I think that's something that maybe I knew on the periphery, but didn't realize how prevalent it was. So that's just one thing that I learned in Exhumed. And you'll see me go on the journey of knowledge, and I hope to share it with you all.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And New Orleans is one of my favorite places, not just for the weird stuff, but people out there are very warm and genuine.
We are so grateful to the people of New Orleans. They could not have been nicer to us. And it's such a history-rich city that we're just so fortunate that we were able to film there, even in the middle of a pandemic.
Again, I appreciate your time, Dr. Emily. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You as well.
This celebrity interview is sponsored by...
I'm Annette Civarella with Pia Anderson Moss Hoyt, Utah's leading entertainment law firm, serving clients nationwide. We provide solid, attentive representation focusing on minimizing risk, reducing cost, and protecting the reputation and privacy of our clients. Our goal is to provide you with the legal representation you need to make the right decisions and to protect you and your creative works. Call or email me for a free consultation.